Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And we are a proud member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network.
Holt and Joseph at center. The new season is underway here at the Brad Center. Pats in the offensive zone. Garrett right circle. Carries around the back of the goal. Wraparound try, stop, rebound, scores. There's Sloan Stanic's first of his Western Hockey League career. Wraparound try, stick save, rebound, scores! Robbie Holmes, and we got a one-goal game.
Before we get into anything today, I want to give a shout-out to probably one of our more interactive fans and people that talks to us the most, and that's Scott. Just want to give him a bit of an acknowledgement that he lost his dad last week. So just to let you know, Scott, that we saw that and we were thinking of you. Okay.
Yeah, long time season ticket holder too.
Yeah, I think there was a little acknowledgement at the game too. I don't know if that was.
Yeah,
Was it his dad?
I believe so. It was a little before the game, and I wasn't in my seat or anything, so I didn't quite catch it all.
Yeah. Anyway, we do want to shake things up a little bit. As you know, going into this season, Chris got on board with dubnetwork.ca, and with that, got a little more press access. So what we want to do is, anyone watching on Twitter won't get this. We're going to add in the interviews after. But what we're going to do is play those for you. I think they were really good. We have Austin Pratt up first, then Ty Cole, and then to Dave Struch. And these are comments after the season opener game against Moose Jaw on Friday.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, a full month of working hard, training the right way, eating the right way, just full team practices. I think that's a big benefit. So I know it feels amazing. I mean, like I said, a full month of doing everything, and it finally came out tonight.
Dave talked for a little while. They got the roster down pretty quick about really honing in and being ready for game one. You guys looked like you were a team that was ready to go at the start. Did you feel that way?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we had a full month together as lines, so you start clicking early, and it showed that when we play the right way, we're a really good team in this league, and as long as we don't we stay out of the box, I think it's going to be a good year.
You said you wanted to be a captain that holds guys accountable, and this is a game where a lot of penalties took place for you guys. So what's the message here to the group?
I think everyone knows. I mean, a lot of them were just like moving your feet kind of penalties. So, it's the first game too. So, a lot of guys are going to learn. So it's not. We ended up with the win, so we're not going to harp on it too hard, just as long as it kind of starts trickling out of our game.
How good did it feel to get that goal 20 seconds into the game against these guys?
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you always want to get your first one out of the way as quick as you can, start rolling. So, that felt really good. That was a good shot by Holtzy, and, it's just how we've been playing, get to the net, get tips.
Is it a confidence booster? I know that it's not the same teams as last year, but these guys kind of dominated you last year. So is it good to get this win early against them?
Yeah, both teams hate each other. So, whenever we get a win against them, it feels pretty good.
What did you think of the resiliency come back in the third there after you guys kind of dominated the first and they pushed back in the second?
We knew the pushback was coming. We just didn't know when it was going to happen. It happens every game. So, I think we honed it pretty good. They got their goals, I believe, all on power plays. So once we started staying out of the box, I thought we took it to them and just.
Yeah, no, we spent the last month preparing for this. We were looking for a great starting weekend, and obviously the first one's super important, and we're looking for the same thing tomorrow. We've been working hard in practice for the past month, and when we were put together, we just said this weekend we want to go hard and just try and get a good win for the team, and obviously 20 seconds in it worked out. Everybody's busting the net, and it's just all the small details that we worked on for the past month that are just coming into play now. Yeah, no, we had a lot of chances. Like we were definitely in their end majority of the game. We were hounding the puck. We had a lot of shots, and I had a couple fumbles, but that last one felt pretty good to get. So.
For sure. Is it good to get started off on the right foot against a rival like Moose Jaw?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. We've obviously last year we hated playing these guys. Like it's and they hate playing us, and it's the same thing. And it's really good to beat these guys and start the season off with a good one.
What's the message in the locker room? Because I said there was a lot of penalties out there today.
Yeah, we were trying to stay disciplined. That's kind of a goal for our team for the next for this throughout the season. But like I said, we have a good penalty kill, and it's good that we can rely on them. But we do need to stay disciplined because it almost did come back to bite us in the ass. So
very early in the season, but do you think this team has enough what it takes to make that playoff push this year?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that everybody has the same mindset. We all had a good summer, came back, and everybody's you could tell right when you walk in on the first day, everybody had the focus and the winning mindset, and we've talked about it all the time. Every day. Worked on the small details, and I think our team's a really hard-working team, and that's one of the one of our staples of our game is working hard and out-competing the other team.
Is your line looking to really lead this team this year?
I think it was good today that we had a good click, but I think we want our whole team engaged, all four lines. Everybody brings something to the table. We all work hard, and I think that. It doesn't matter what line it's out there. I think everybody can score. But it is good, to get it started and get it rolling early on, and then it just kind of just started, snowball effect, and goals were kind of just going in, and we were hounding them. And I think the energy brought from that first one really got us the leverage in that game, and we just stayed on top of them all game. So it was good.
Yeah. Did you like the pushback in the third after they'd scored two?
Yeah, we did get a little. I wouldn't even say nervous. I think we knew that 5-on-5 we were out competing them, and that when we got the puck deep and we were in their end, we were just absolutely working them. So I think that when we did get a couple penalties, guys were a little scared. But like I said, we have a lot of trust in our penalty kill, and I think as soon as it's 5-on-5, we were just in their end, racking the shots up, and I had a lot of confidence in our team. So.
The win is fantastic. The last month of work that we put into the daily routine has paid off. 5-on-5, we were really good tonight, so we're really, really happy. The players deserve it. We've talked about winning this game right from day one, and that was our goal, and we achieved it here tonight. And you can't win two on the weekend if you don't win tonight, so we got to be ready for tomorrow night and hopefully have the same start that we had.
How did these guys get the message then about penalties if you're not going to
play the way we played in the first period? Play hard and play the right way, and you have the puck, you won't take as many penalties. And again, I go back to what we've talked about from day one. We focus on winning this first game, and we've achieved one of our goals, and we need to obviously focus on tomorrow night now and getting 2 more points. A team that was focused. And then even if you look into the second and third, when it was 5-on-5, we got the puck in, we did things right, we got some more opportunities, we got some momentum back, and a lot of it has to do with the last month of the work that these guys have put in. And what our focus was on. Our focus was on being ready for this first game and getting the win. However the things went tonight, our bench didn't get down. We still remained positive, and everybody was ready for their next shift.
With those interviews, what stood out to you?
Basically, they all said they had well prepared coming into the season. They had lots of time. They were working together. They had lines going, so they were getting lots of good reps together.
That's what I noticed too. They both said that they had like a month of line. Like, so I don't know. You think about the last few years. Remember, the lines were always changing and looking for that chemistry. And I mean, from that Friday night game, it looks like they had found some chemistry already, and they've had that consistency that they've been working with for a while. It sounds like. From both Pratt and Cole mentioned that, and we can get into the game after we talk about Struch's comments, though. But it was definitely, you could see that comfort and some of that chemistry already in the first game, which is something we didn't really see last year, and even the last couple seasons. Yeah, they're always switching up lines, looking for that nice combination, and it's kind of encouraging that they've found something already.
Yeah, they had Holt on that with Holmes, I think. Holmes and Pratt in the one preseason game.
Yeah.
And they looked pretty good together as well. So obviously they've mixed up a little bit, but I think there's been some consistency with that, right? They're not just throwing everybody's name in a hat and pulling names, right?
Yeah. Yes. Now getting to Struch's interview, it was kind of funny. Anyone watching that game was obviously a little bit disgusted in the amount of penalties as well, and he wasn't even talking. He wasn't even commenting. And
Yeah,
he was so mad.
Literally had no comment on the penalties.
He was so
just
upset
said,
about them.
If we play like we did in the first period, we won't be taking penalties. If we've got the puck, we won't be taking penalties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's obviously an ongoing thing because we've had penalty issues for years now. And
Yeah.
it's just we can't seem to get rid of it.
I
We're always
was-
one of the highest penalized teams.
I was just having flashbacks to last year when we were just atrocious. We had took so many penalties, and then our PK was just abysmal.
it looked a
and
little
ugly.
better.
It looked better, but I'd rather not see it.
No, I know.
As much
and we
as
gave
we
up
are.
2 in the first game. It was the only 2 goals we gave up.
Yeah.
Were
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
penalty kill. But it goes back to 16, 17. Guys were getting sat because they were taking dumb penalties.
Yeah.
And and we were sitting our top end guys because they were taking stupid penalties. And we just I don't know what the culture is. I think just there's different players.
That's the thing. It's a totally different team. There's
I know, but it just kind of
fingerprints left from that team.
No, there's nobody left, but it kind of just trickles down,
I
right?
suppose.
Because there's people that were here, there.
Yeah.
It just.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So it's game 1. I was really surprised by Struch's, not comment, but just his demeanor against. He's like, yeah, we're not even talking about it.
Well, and and they spoke. The players spoke out. They kind of alluded to it a little bit too. But
yes, yeah.
I listened to an interview with Struch that was on 980 earlier in the week before the game, and they were talking about the difference between last season and this. And last season, the organization had committed that it was a rebuilding season, and that was okay. The tone for this year is to win. They're not okay with just going out there and making some mistakes and learning from them. I'm sure that that's still going to happen, but it's not. They're not just okay with that. They're rebuilding that culture of winning.
Yeah,
and you could hear it in the interview. I think it was Cole. He was saying, Ty Cole was saying. He was already talking about tomorrow, the Saturday game, and winning that game.
Yeah.
They were happy with this win, but they were already moving on to think about the next one. And he was already, in his mind, he was saying they were going to win. They were going to be 2-0. And that's just a different. And I don't know if they're coached that way, if that's the way. There must be the culture in the dressing room right now.
Well, even Struch said that. He's like, you can't win both games in a weekend if you don't win the first game. So he's like, yeah. We won the first game. Now we need to see that good start, that good energy in tomorrow night's game. He was addressing it as well, looking already ahead. This game's over. This done in the past. What's happened.
Yeah,
we won it. Good, and we're moving on to tomorrow.
It kind of reminds me of that was kind of a Russell Wilson-ism when they were doing well and they won the Super Bowl. They always just said after when they were 1-0, right? It didn't matter what the record was. They won this game and that was great. But that's it, and it's on to the next one.
Even Bill Belichick, when he gets dumb questions or questions he won't answer, we're focused on the next game.
Yeah.
We're focused on the next game.
Yeah. It was just a little bit different to see this year already, that passion and that drive, it was subtle, but it was there. It was nice to see. So speaking of that first game, after that first period, I think we both sat there and we were just in awe.
Yeah,
it was unfreaking believable. We haven't seen hockey like that. Well, we've seen it on the other side last year. We saw ourselves on the getting beat up like that. I hadn't seen the Pats play like that since that
16,
52. Yeah, the 52 win year.
Because we didn't have that the year after.
No. Even when we were good, we were not that good.
No.
It was just a style of hockey that, and I don't know if it was just Moose Jaw was just, they were looking terrible too. They were making some of the worst passes I'd seen in a long time, but it was a really dominating period.
Yeah.
Moose Jaw had 2 shots. We had 2 goals.
Yeah.
Now
we had 15 shots, and what I noticed, lots of guys going to the net, lots of tips.
Mm-hmm.
There was lots of rebounds.
I noticed. So last year, it felt like all of our shots were getting blocked, and it was either missing nets. It seemed like we were just shooting for the sake of shooting to get it, just to try.
Mm-hmm.
But now, this game, it seemed like they were looking for the tip or there were sometimes it even looked like they intentionally missed the
Yeah.
net to get the play off the
board,
back wall, and
or even a guy at the side of the net looking
Yeah.
for a backdoor pass tip kind of thing.
yeah, the movement. It was
And there was lots of rebounds there. Birkin was letting out lots.
yeah, but he was getting shelled. I don't.
Yeah. No, it wasn't all his fault, but I mean, there was lots of. It wasn't just we're shooting and he's making the save and getting a whistle. There was rebounds. There was second
Yeah.
chances. So yeah, I was thoroughly impressed by that first period. And you knew Moose Jaw was going to push back. They weren't just going to sit there
Right.
and roll over.
I mean, they looked so bad in the first
yeah.
that I couldn't believe that would continue, and it didn't. The second period certainly was much more even, and then yeah, the penalty parade started there, and kind of got a little worrisome there. And that's the thing with hockey. Like, so we absolutely dominated one period, and we had 2 goals on them. And
Yeah.
really, I mean, that's okay, but for the
amount of chances we had.
yeah, and
I
the
think.
way the puck control, we should have. You have
Should've been
to.
a couple more.
And it's all sports. If you could outshoot them, and we saw it in the next game, you can outshoot them, but if you don't score, it doesn't matter.
No.
Nobody cares. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's only 2-0 game. Like they're.
That's not a hard deficit.
Yeah, exactly. It's not 4 or 5 after
Yeah.
the first period.
Yeah. And it was probably just enough that take a couple penalties and here and there, and just left the door open a little bit for them. And
And they took advantage of it.
yeah, so good for them. They showed some resilience there because they got just pummeled in the first period.
Yeah, yeah.
So to come back and do that.
Yeah, and then it tied it right back up, so.
Yeah, and then penalties, I mean, we're looking at 7 for us again versus 1 for them. And then there was one late penalty, was there not, in the third? Where
Yes.
you're thinking, come on, like, okay, it's 6-1 for the penalties now.
And I mean, they weren't.
You don't have to call it on
they
them,
weren't-
but just, come on. This is a game, just possibly game
I
deciding
don't know
penalty.
if they were really questionable calls.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like the ones we took in Moose Jaw in the second game, yeah, they were penalties. I thought maybe there could have been a couple more for Moose Jaw. I thought maybe were a little questionable, but I mean, the penalties we took were penalties. And it was older guys. Like Cole took a tripping penalty. He stuck his stick right in the guy's legs and basically can opened him. And he's doing the old arms up, right? Like, you're guilty when you do that. So, like, it's obvious. So it's still even the older guys, right? It's
But that being said, to play like that in the first period, be up 2-0, let them come back and tie it up at 2-2, and then show that resilience on our side to get that third goal and the win.
Yeah, and then
I think
the
showed a
late
lot.
penalty kill as well to really bear down. I asked Cole and Pratt about that, coming back, having that dominating period, them coming back, tying it up, and then us getting the late goal and the penalty kill.
Yeah. That was I was stoked. After game 1, I thought, shit, we are back.
Yeah, it was
like,
it was
I
exciting.
know we're not, they're all going to be awesome and like that, but it was just nice. It was just, that's why you like hockey, right?
Yeah,
it was
it was entertaining.
Fun, entertaining game. It really was. Now, into game 2, unfortunately, and this is why this episode, it's a little late. I had to be away for work. I was in Ottawa. Just got back early this morning. Yeah, this morning. Early, late, last night, whichever you want to say. So I actually didn't get a chance to see the game in Moose Jaw.
Well, it didn't even work on WHL live Saturday night, so I couldn't watch it live. I ended up watching it last night.
So I was just following along and saw 2-0, 4-0 after 2. From what you did see,
Again, hot start. Like, first, there wasn't a whistle for 3 minutes until we took a penalty. But, I mean, we were dominating again first 3 minutes, and then we took a penalty. Like, we were controlled the whole play. It looked like Friday night all over again.
Okay.
And then, boom, penalty.
And, I mean, from just looking at the stats, 46 shots to 26 shots, 18 in the first, 15 in the second, 13 in the third. We only gave up 5 shots in the third period. So there must have been a pretty strong push there.
there was. It was, we didn't score till 5 minutes to go. I actually was listening to the game in the car. I just happened to be out, and so I threw it on. And then Stanek gets one. He just went to the net.
Yeah, I saw the highlight of it. Nice, just rebound
go to the
goal.
net. Yeah. Garrett Wright tried the wrap around, and it was just loose, and he just put it in. And then the second goal was pretty ugly, just a shot from Crane from like the hash, like the outside hash, and just fooled Birkin, I think, or whatever happened. And then all of a sudden it's 4-2, and then all of a sudden it just kind of came on for the Pats.
And then an empty netter, right?
Yeah, so we got the third one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We got the third one, and then they got an empty netter with like a second to go. So.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was, again, the penalties kind of just killed the momentum.
Yeah. Well, something to work on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see that positive energy and the skill, the domination they can have. And I guess if you can identify that it's the penalties. But, last year it was maybe a little bit more excusable because we were playing
younger guys.
Yeah, and they were just outmatched, outskilled physically.
Yeah.
But they had to rely on clutching
taking
and grabbing and
hooking.
Yeah.
And I mean, I looked at the average age, and we're not that young compared to everybody else in the division. Like, we're all pretty much about the same age, despite the, not misconception, but, you think Saskatoon, they're a little older. Well, not really.
Okay.
And we're not that young. Like, yes, we're young on the back end.
Yeah.
But our forwards, like, we got the 320s.
Yeah.
We got 419s forwards, 3 or 4. So, like, there's 6 guys up front that are 19 or 20. So we've got an older, kind of forward base. So.
And speaking of those older guys, how many points did we count up they had in that first game? 6 or 7. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna have to lead this team, I think, for the first little while here. Yeah, and they are. I mean, there's no doubt.
Like, we need, like, I was thinking about this earlier today. We kind of need a season from those 3 guys, like what Moose Jaw had.
Yeah,
from their top line last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect 100 points from them all.
Right.
But I mean, we need them to dominate, kind of like what those 3 did, Tracy and the 2 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be nice now. I mean, there's the point leadership, but the leadership for discipline as well.
Yeah. It's got to be addressed, and it's got to be not addressed, but I mean, like, they got to really focus on that.
Pratt's a good guy to do it. He won our sportsmanship player of the year last year.
Yeah,
so
and how many penalties did he have? Penalty minutes? Like, it was like
minuscule.
Yeah, it was like under 10. It was like single digits.
It was ridiculous. We both, when we saw that, we had to look it up.
Yeah.
It was a very small
And then he did
number.
have that 1 5-minute penalty or 10-minute misconduct or something that doesn't actually count towards your penalty minutes because it was just a misconduct. But yeah, it was very, very few penalties.
Anything else you want to talk about those games?
Not really. Paddock looked good. I seen the report that he's day-to-day upper body, so I didn't really see anything happen. I didn't notice anything happen to Johnson in the game either.
No, I saw him on the report too,
So they called up keeper. So if
Yeah.
he's here ready to go if Paddock can't go. So I'm not saying he'll start, but he's here to back up if Paddock can't back up, right?
Yeah.
So we might see the new guy.
Okay, before we go on to next week, the games coming up, I picked out another interesting stat of the week, kind of tied into player involved in something this week as well. So from last year, who was our top in plus minus? I'll give you a little second to think about that, okay?
Well, I know that one because you told me earlier.
Okay, well, for everyone else, you get a little bit to think about it.
And he was the only one in positive numbers.
Yeah. So while you're thinking about that, the Saskatchewan Podcast Network is supported by Connexus. Savings, checkings, GIC, budget, RSP, TFSA, mutual funds, credit score, emergency funds, variable versus fixed rates, compound interest, retirement. The list goes on. It's time to make some sense of all of it. At Connexus Credit Union, they want to help. Financial literacy is critical life skill, giving you the knowledge and confidence to make smart, responsible decisions about your money. Visit connexusmoneytalk.ca to find expert advice, tips, and solutions for all your life stages and events, and increase your financial literacy knowledge confidence today.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if either of us really have any spare money at the moment.
No, both bought new cars today.
Yeah, basically this week. So
yeah, making it rain. No.
Yeah, no doubt. Big podcast money coming in here.
Right.
We might need another dozen ads or something.
Yeah,
to actually make some money on this. But
yeah, a couple 10,000 listeners more.
Yeah,
maybe.
Share away.
So back to our interesting stat of the week. +3 was the top last year, and that was Steven Zonneveld. So when he was moved back down, I commented that I was a little bit surprised. I thought, I don't know, I felt that he was a decent player, and I didn't fully expect him to go back down, but I don't know, there were people that said, yeah, he was the kind of the guy on the bubble, and it wasn't terribly surprising.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any real high upside to him, but I thought he was a solid defender.
And this was out of, I think, 40-some games, a +3 on that team.
Yeah, he was the only positive, right?
Yeah, there was someone at 0.
Okay.
And then it just...
Yeah, lots of negatives. Yeah, I mean, plus-minus isn't the greatest stat either, but it is indicative.
Yeah.
You know, we gave up a lot of goals last year.
Yeah.
And if you're +3 on a team that gave up a ton of goals, that says something. Maybe you weren't on
just
the ice
take
that
short
much.
shifts. Yeah.
But yeah, for the only guy to be plus, that's a little impressive.
The other movement was Dean McNabb to Winnipeg. So going into this season, we knew one of them would be on the move. My feeling was that it would have been Paddock to maybe a contender that needed that goaltending, especially with his experience that he had in the Memorial Cup. He showed what he can bring. Last year was a bit of a down year, especially the start of the year was. The second half of the season, he really picked it up. But we saw McNabb go over to Winnipeg. Not too much in return for him. What was it?
No, their start, it was like a 7th or an 8th.
Yeah.
Either way, it went. But yeah, their starter's out for a while, so they were looking for somebody, another body.
And I think he played game 1, right?
I believe so.
Chances are, so yeah, they got their first win as an organization. They won in Brandon, and then they lost at home. So I don't know if they played a game in between that then and.
No, I think it was just the home and home, I believe.
Okay.
I don't even remember who won which game, but it was one of
they
first
won.
Game.
They haven't won at home yet.
Okay.
No. But first up on the Friday, we have PA in town. They're 1-1. They had a home and home with Saskatoon.
One more thing on that McNabb trade. So I heard Phil talking on Sports Cage, I think it was.
Yeah.
We had to trade him before the season started.
Okay.
Or else there would have been the conditions on the second pick would change. So there was some sort of conditions that we would have had to give up a higher pick if we kept him into the regular season. Because we gave up an 8th and a conditional 5th. So
yeah,
what the conditions were exactly, if we had to move it up to a 3rd, or if it was the 5th, and then if we traded him, it's actually only a 7th now or something like that. I don't know. He didn't really go into details, but that's why the move was made before the season began.
Okay.
I mean, like, maybe they still trade Paddock at the deadline. You never know. But
that's true.
Seems a little more unlikely now that we're just going to ride him out this year and into next year, I think.
That's true. Yeah. But then as soon as we got rid of McNabb, we brought in
Danton Bellick
from Everett.
Yeah. And he's out of Manitoba, so he'd only played a couple games with them.
Right.
You know, they're not out here very often, so it's a little bit tough to get him into games into Everett. But yeah, basically it was just basically straight up McNabb for him. The picks were pretty much
Basically,
identical.
yeah.
And so yeah, he doesn't have much experience, but I think, and obviously they like him better than keep Pezenti already, right? Because he's the backup now.
Yeah, I think Presenti might not have a spot
Anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
he might be just an emergency.
and especially they brought in keeper
Yeah, they've called up
before
keeper.
him. They brought on a 15-year-old as your backup now. So
Yeah.
I think that might be indicative of where that's going. Anyway, so back to PA 1-1. They had a home and home with Saskatoon. I think the visiting team won.
Yes.
Each one. Yeah.
So I took Saskatoon to win on Saturday night at home in my little
Why wouldn't
Dub
you?
Network picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, PA will come out strong. I'm like, Saskatoon should, they should, should win at home on Saturday night. But no,
I would have thought so.
they lost. So
Yeah.
I'm 0 for 1 already.
I would have picked the home team. I would have got both wrong. So, so in our division, there's kind of that feeling of the upper tier of PA, Saskatoon, and Brandon, and then the lower tier, us, Winnipeg, Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And PA just picked up another 20 forward, Braden Watts, I believe his name, from Vancouver. 'Cause
Okay.
Vancouver's loaded with 19s last year, so they've been
Right.
dumping 20s. So that's a big pickup for them.
So how do you feel going into this one?
I'm still questionable on their goaltending, but it sounds like, the first game he played pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked pretty good in the preseason when they were here. I mean, it wasn't the full rosters or full
Mhm. Yeah, they
regular
did
season
look
rosters,
good.
but
Yeah.
they did look pretty good here. So it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah,
I
it
think
will.
They're the lower end of the top tier, I think, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough game, I think, for us.
It's
And
not
then-
unwinnable like it was last year.
No,
but-
it isn't. And then it all depends on our goaltending situation as well. If we're starting
Right.
a young guy,
Yeah.
he's not that young, but a guy that doesn't have much experience in the league.
Yeah, that could be the big question mark for this one is Paddock's status.
Yeah, because we're going to rely on him now, especially if now that McNabb's gone, right?
Yeah.
We don't have a
Last year it felt like you could plug and play either.
yeah. Oh yeah, we were comfortable with either guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. If Paddock's playing one of the two, it'd be nice for him to play that and then sit the Winnipeg game. So speaking of Winnipeg coming in here 1-1, again I think they swapped wins at each other's barns.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, Winnipeg is they're not a team to be sleeping on. So we're ranking them in the bottom tier here, but I don't, it'd be nice. I don't know. It doesn't sound like anybody really knows the story on Matt Savoy.
Sounds like he's going to get 30, 35 games. So I don't know if those are going to be home
Oh,
games.
home, yeah.
Or what? Or maybe these kind of like little quick trips to Regina or Moose Jaw or Saskatoon kind of thing, right? I mean, it sounds like he's playing. I think he's playing at rink. That's their like CCSHL team in Winnipeg.
Okay.
Because he played in Edmonton at NAX last year in midget.
Okay.
Like he was playing up, whereas everybody else his age is playing bantam. So I don't know if he's playing midget at rink this year. So he's kind of close, and he's going to be available to them, kind of like for those home games or these quick little trips to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I'd like to see him. I mean, there's been so much talk. He hasn't really done much yet.
No, not yet.
In the
Nothing
league.
in the preseason, really.
No.
I mean, I watched a little bit of him in the Canada Winter Games, and I watched a little bit of him at the Alberta Cup, and the Alberta Cup, he didn't seem too, I don't know if it
didn't stand out.
No,
The way,
and he's playing kids his age, only his age. Like that's all 14s, or I guess some of them will be 15 in the spring, but 14 hockey age.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was too interested in playing that because he's playing midget. He's playing 15, 16, 17-year-olds all season. Then he goes down and plays that. But, yeah. Alberta Cup or Canada Winter Games, he looked a little better in the one game I saw. He looked a little better. And that is, again, that's same age group. But it's a little more higher stakes there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, you're playing for your province kind of thing. And it's a big event.
And where's Krebs at?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if he started the season with them, he was a difference maker with them last year. He stood out. You know, we both could see that. But he has a sliced Achilles tendon, so now it's not a torn Achilles. It was sliced by a skate, so it's not a rehab as lengthy as tearing your Achilles because that's a tough
When did that
injury.
happen?
In the summer.
Okay.
So I don't. It sounds like the return isn't as long because they can repair it, and it's not like he wrecked the Achilles. Like it just got cut, right?
Yeah.
So you can. I mean, it's not easy. The rehab isn't going to be easy for him. So I don't know what the timetable on his return is. I didn't see it in the report if they actually listed him or not.
Oh, okay.
But I'll look that up right now.
Otherwise, you got Cole Muir there, another good player, and Dean McNabb. So they're not they're not a team. Some people had them way at the bottom. I think
I may have had him at the bottom in my.
You had him at the bottom, but
preview.
Rod Peterson, I think, had him even.
Yeah, he
making
was just
the playoffs.
Throwing him out
Well,
there. He put Brandon last just because he doesn't like Brandon.
Anyway, so that game, I mean, that's a winnable game. We'll see.
Yeah, that should be a good game.
I'm excited to see this. I'm actually kind of excited to see Winnipeg because last year was such a shitty situation for the whole organization, right? Like how it went down with the move and the whole energy around that team was, I think, kind of crappy. So fresh start for them. I'd like to see, and really they are potentially building something there. So
yeah, with getting Savoy and Connor Geekie, top two guys there, first two picks of the draft. That's a good base, right?
Totally.
You can start. You got Krebs. He'll be there this year. I'm sure he'll be back next year. I don't see him. I don't think he'd be making the NHL, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in the weekly report on him. It just says attending NHL camp, so there's no injury status there.
Is he at a camp?
I think he's in Vegas doing his rehab or whatever,
okay.
right? He's not here.
Okay. What else you got?
Kind of other stuff, other topics. Don't really have much else on the Pats, I don't think.
No, I think we're good for Pats news this week.
Yeah, a couple things. Or our PIM leader from last year, Coltrane Wilson.
That was the interesting statistic of the week last week.
Yeah,
it was who had the most PIMs in the dub last year, and it was Coltrane Wilson
from the Hurricanes.
If anyone, it shouldn't be a surprise. Once I read it, I thought, oh my god, of course.
Yeah,
total.
I was listening to Canes this week, the podcast there, and they were talking about him. He's like, oh, yeah, well, he's going to miss the first game of the season. Oh, why is that? Well, he got suspended in the preseason. Like, he's already, I don't know if he's going for back-to-back titles here or, just keeps the belt.
Yeah.
Those belts are nice. But
the pin belt, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Good for him.
Yeah, well, whatever. That's what he's into. And then actually kind of, not breaking news, but,
Quasi, it was today.
Quasi news tonight. Ryan Hughes got traded from Saskatoon. Kind of a interesting deal. Like they had an abundance of overagers.
Yeah,
so they had to deal somebody.
He was 69 and 60 games last year or something like that.
Game
yeah,
player.
At least a point a game. And you think a team such as Saskatoon that could potentially be poised for a push here. I don't know if you call it a push at the start of the season already, but I mean, they're ranked number 3 in CHL, which, I mean, take those for what they're worth, but they have some potential, obviously. And to deal away a guy like that. But it sounds like there's some more to it.
Well, yeah, you don't know.
Possibly.
You never know. Like,
No.
it sounds like they chose Riley McKay over him. And Riley McKay, I don't know, he had 12 goals last year. You know, nothing spectacular. 15 assists, 27 points, 68 games. So nothing spectacular. It's kind of like, oh, well. So, you know, it's a question mark. You know, you're dealing him away. They got a couple, a third and a fourth back. So a couple
Wasn't it
decent.
high as a second?
Was it a
I
second? Okay, so right.
They got some decent picks regardless.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're, you know, trying to dump a 20, get some value. For
And maybe
him.
someone made the offer.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
tough to
Kamloops
pass up.
GM knows him
Oh, okay.
from Portland because they got him from Portland, and Kamloops GM was the assistant in Portland. So there is some history there.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe Portland was trying to make the move there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you never know. It's maybe they're moving him because he's got value, and they're looking to make a move because they had to move somebody, and obviously he has more value than say Riley McKay.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows, right?
And
It's-
move him out of division too.
yeah, long ways away.
Yeah. Yeah. You only play, shouldn't affect your
Season.
Yeah,
not
right.
like
you
sending
only play
Dean
him
McNabb
twice.
to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
No, they only play him once.
Once, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's about all I got, I think.
Okay. Good. So just 2 games this Friday and
Friday,
then,
Sunday.
Yeah, nice Sunday game.
It's
I like those
post-game
afternoons.
skate.
Yes,
too.
post-game skate if you're into that.
Yeah.
We
take
still
the kids out.
haven't figured out if you have to have a kid to go on and do it or not. That's okay.
Yeah.
Mine's usually kind of winding down by the end of the game if he is that does attend one of those afternoons. It's because they wrap around 7 and that's getting close to
Yeah, wind down
bedtime,
time,
but-
yeah.
yeah. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll wrap it up
That's
for
it,
the
yeah.
night, and we'll see you guys at the rink. Good one.
Have a good one.